Hi, folks. I can't believe we are at the end.
It's almost May,
It is almost May.
and
yeah.
you're almost done.
Yeah.
IDT 507.
I mean, we've come a long way historically,
Mhm.
content-wise, theoretically.
From the
Uh,
from the beginning to the end.
right.
Although this is not the end.
No. We've
Right.
got one last thing we want to talk about with this course, and we see it as a culmination. The undergrads would call it a cumulative final, maybe.
Mhm.
We could think of it that way.
We could.
Yeah. What we have is you've produced over the last couple of months works and content and musings about historical eras and changes in information technology. And what we kind of want you to do is, if I just sort of scroll down, you went obviously pre-telegraphy, electronics, computing, 21st century information technology, which they just finished. We want you to assess, how did we get here? The big question, is there some kind of through line that you could see, some kind of historical connection, ways in which you could see commonality of why things changed from era to era, and bring in the theory. If you could essentially make it a broader argument by looking back at what you produced, maybe we could get a hold of why things change, when they change.
And with a focus though on your own personal growth
Yes.
in terms of information design. So you designed four separate projects. Produced four separate projects, and there's probably, we hope, that you've noticed progress as you move from the beginning of the semester to the end in terms of your design goals and how you integrated information design approaches with the content that you're talking about.
Exactly.
So there's two kind of ways to wrap the semester up, and we're hoping you wrap them up together in one project.
Yeah, and that could be, it depends. I mean, with some students dove deeply into one tool and got better and better as time went on. Other students took multiple tools, and so those are two different kinds of growth. And so just it's almost sort of a meta commentary on your design growth, as well as then thinking about the communication growth throughout time.
And especially as you want to reflect on the differences from both in your design but also in the content from the 21st century to the 19th century when we started, or
Even
12th,
earlier.
or even earlier, way, and so you've moved, both the technology has moved over the semester, and your designs have moved over the semester.
Yeah, and a component of this could also be predictive. If you see, it could be your design, where are you going to take this in terms of your design, but where do you see this going? Where do you see these trend lines? If you think through a trend line or commonalities, what does that mean for 5 years, 10 years? Probably.
And then
can't
how do
put
they
up.
produce this? What does this look like when
What
we
does it
get
look like? Yeah. I mean, I would assume that you could. One thing that we would want is we're going to have you write up a memo like we have for every project. But then I would say get creative. If your design, if you're talking about how you've grown in your design, put the portfolio in that format. If you've grown in Prezi, if you've grown in any other of the WordPress, if you've worked through that, put your visualize what the portfolio would look like in that format.
And make sure that you reference the previous projects.
Yep.
And you can reference them both with links so that you can say, oh, here's my project one, here's a link. But you could also do a screenshot, a screen grab of project one if you've got different parts of it that you wanted to highlight. So, this is what I did in the beginning of the semester, this is what it looks like now. But it's really up to you. But you want to demonstrate progress intellectually and in terms of design.
Yep.
And it's completely up to you how you do that. If you wanted to, all right, don't make a 30-minute video.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to do a video, where you're
walking through everything,
walking through all the stuff that you've done, that's fine. If you want to do a slideshow, that's fine. If you want to make it purely textual narrative, well, it's got to have some.
It's got to have some,
It's got to be some visuals in there.
Because the content that you will have created was inherently visual already. So.
But probably the simple Word document, 400 words, probably isn't going to cut it.
Well, you're already putting the memo in, so
Yes.
that's where you're going to contextualize all this anyway. So you have a written component, but really stretch your legs and try and think through how you can do this from a visually arresting manner. Yeah.
And don't forget, it's a portfolio, so you absolutely have to reference those four projects and reflect on them.
Right.
So really, the concept of the of your assessment. That word assessment is it's a self-assessment
Yeah.
of what you've done, and we want to move it towards goals. So you want to create some movement,
Yes.
if you can, in
You've
your project.
moved from point A to point B at the end of the semester, but there's a point C as well.
Yeah.
What does this do for you as a designer? What does this do for you as a scholar, and all that?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the other thing, if it, and this is, we didn't include this in the description of the project, but if you wanted to include some discussion of where you want to go,
Mm-hmm.
we certainly you could certainly incorporate that in the project as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And timeline-wise, looks like we have this due May 3rd, so just in the middle of finals week. So a little
Next week.
Yeah, next week. A little bit of a dead sprint toward the finish line, but
And we probably will not critique these in a podcast.
no, I don't think so.
We're done.
We have to grade them, so
Yes.
we have to actually catch up on that. So.
So we're
That's it.
brief today.
Yes.
We're not going to take a lot of your time.
No.
We just wanted to thank you very much for watching these podcasts. And if you
Absolutely.
have a chance when you do the course evaluation, which we'd encourage you to do, you should have gotten an email, maybe one or two,
Well, maybe one every day for every course.
to fill out the course evaluation. But
Yeah.
certainly, feel free to add comments if you wanted to give us some sense of whether these podcasts are worth your time
Yes.
in watching, and whether you learn from them, and that'll give us a clue as to whether we should continue doing it. So
Yes,
we'd appreciate
definitely.
your feedback on those.
Very
So
important. Yeah.
I think we're done.
Yeah. Let us know if you have questions, and thanks for the great semester.
Yep.
Yeah.
Catch you later. Take